Okay, thank you for joining, everybody. This is the August 2025 Friends of the CFD Movement Action Team meeting. We're a sub-team of the CCL's Higher Ed Action Team, and our objective is to help connect schools and school clubs and students who are really concerned about climate change with the CFD Movement Project, which is a student-run organization consisting of posters and stickers with a strong message, help solve uh, most effective climate policy, hashtag carbon fee and dividend, bit.ly/rate Congress here. So it's got a hook to attract somebody's attention who's worried about climate change, the name of the policy, which we need more than 0.001% of the American public to know about and understand the benefits of and support. And then the bit.ly link points to a CCL page that makes it really easy to write Congress asking them to pass carbon fee and dividend legislation. So that's kind of the first step of a club doing CFD movement. They can then have they plaster the campus with posters, they put stickers on their water bottles. People don't know about it for a couple weeks, but they start to kind of see these signs around, and then we can offer teach-ins and other ways, chalk art projects on walkways, and it depends on the school's rules what's available. But basically, and then some teach-ins, bring an economist or have the CFD movement students talk about the policy, the economist statement, maybe show a little En-ROADS climate policy simulation, and get everybody kind of on board with why we need to price carbon, why a full dividend is a great way to do it, and then hopefully we get the snowball effect, and those students tell other friends and other schools. And if we can get hundreds of schools going, we can have some most effective pizza parties in 2026. Hopefully, hundreds of schools across the country, maybe making national news, and get carbon fee and dividend in the public discussion. Okay, so that said, we have a couple resources, but I'll get into those in our evening's meeting. But let's just do a quick round of introductions. Let's see where you're from, what you kind of do at CCL, and I guess that would be a good start. Keith, do you want to start us off?
Sure. Keith McNeil. I live in Clearwater, British Columbia, Canada. Been involved with CCL Canada since 2014. We like to think that, well, we've been told by Catherine McKenna, who was Minister of Environment at the time, that CCL Canada played a big role in Canada bringing in the carbon tax with rebates that we had. So that was encouraging, and now the federal government has dropped the consumer carbon tax with the rebates, and so that's a little discouraging. But I think we got to plug on. I think it's the only way to go. So really glad to see some younger people taking up the cause.
Perfect. Owen. Thank you, Keith.
Hi, I'm Owen. I'm from California, but I go to school in New York. And I've been doing a couple of different roles in different parts of CCL. I work for Climate Future California, which is kind of CCL's California state branch, as well as also working with John on carbon fee and dividend.
Great, thanks. Luke?
Hey, how's it going, John? Hey, how's it going, everyone? What's the prompt?
Oh, sorry. Where are you from and what you do at CCL?
Oh, okay, thanks. All right, sorry I was late. I was just onboarding someone actually. But
Okay.
thanks. I'm Luke. I'm from Dallas, and I'm from like the Highland Park area, like it's like North Dallas. And I'm in Boston, and I'm moving to New York in 4 days. I'm the founder and president of CCL Harvard. And yeah, right now I'm kind of that like head of CFD Harvard also.
Awesome. Thanks, Luke.
Thanks.
Max.
Hey, everybody. My name is Max. I live in Big Sky, Montana. I'm co-head of the Bozeman chapter of CCL, and part of the leadership team in the state of Montana. And I've really enjoyed the lobby days that I've had with CCL over the 5 or 6 years I've been a member. And I joined because of carbon fee and dividend. I was fortunate to get to know George Schultz when I found out that he was very much involved with carbon fee and dividend already starting in the 80s. I was attracted to CCL and see if we could help CCL maybe get back on track with a little bit more emphasis on carbon fee and dividend.
Terrific. Thanks, Max. And Donna.
Hi. Sorry, my camera has some problems, so I can't turn it on. I'm from Lancaster, Pennsylvania. I go to Henfield High School, and I just joined CCL like yesterday.
Welcome.
Welcome, welcome.
Yeah, thanks for being here. And Stephen. Oh, Stephen stepped away for a moment. Oh, Stephen, we're just saying where we're from and what we do at CCL.
Yeah. Hi, I'm Steve Selby. I've been in CCL since about 2018, and I've been the group leader of our chapter here in Lynchburg for about 4 years. And I really like carbon fee and dividend. Like all of us, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so I'm John Gage. I'm state coordinator in New Hampshire for CCL, and I'm on the advisory board for the CFD Movement. And my daughter is one of the co-presidents, a student at Bowdoin right now. Yeah, so thanks. Okay, so I put the agenda in here in the chat, and I'm recording. Okay, so the next thing on the list is to take a snapshot in Zoom. Does anybody mind if I'm trying to stick with the times and
Hey, if
do
you tag
social
us, we just started our CFD Harvard.
All right. Okay, so here we go. 3, 2, 1. Thank you. Okay, excellent. So you just started CFD Harvard?
Well, yeah, you might recall the post from like early June. Part of the post was like about launching, like our page for carbon fee and dividend. Chris was supposed to be heading, but he's dealing with like some immigration stuff, with what's happening at Harvard, and so I'm kind of stepping up. But yeah.
Awesome. Terrific. Great. Yeah. Okay. So all right. I did kind of the purpose before our introductions. Okay, so let's see. So basically, I tried to write in the invitation to this, kind of to set the context to get CCL excited about this, and we'll be promoting this. I'm going to be talking to Brett Cease in a couple days, and I think this is something that CCL should really help participate with all of its members. And in the meantime, we need to exercise the resources and help make them CCL quality. And so I can use your help, with ideas and, trying some of these things out. So I'll put them in chat, but there's basically 3 kind of documents that are resources to help with kind of the first 2 are kind of the general case. Finding who to email, hopefully related to a club in a school, to ask for a meeting. So this could be your alma mater, or if you're a student at a school, if you're not connected with the environment club or something out, reach out to them to make the contact. And then hopefully get invited in. And the hook is, hey, I would love to show you MIT's and Climate Interactive's Climate Policy Simulator. It gives a global perspective of the power of the policies that are at our available, and how they interact, and then how they affect the cost of energy and biodiversity and sea level rise, and all, so kind of get invited in to do an En-ROADS and then climate solutions talk. And then so you show a bit of En-ROADS, and we have a poster showing the carbon price from carbon fee and dividend rising by $10 or $15 a year if pushed through the whole century until 2100. and extended through 2100 and pushed around the world with the CBAM in coordination with the EU and other of our major trading partners. That carbon price gets us about halfway to the 1.5 target. And then it makes a lot of the other complementary policies easier to do. So that's kind of, that seems like a compelling case to me to somebody who's concerned about climate change, that doesn't know exactly what to do, trying to get them interested in carbon fee and dividend. And then we explain carbon pricing in general. There's a 2-minute carbon pricing explained with chickens video. And then there's the economist statement showing how well supported it is academically. And then here's a way that you can help spread the word among your peers at your school. Simple project that you can do in your club, or you can start a whole club focused on this. And there's a toolkit of ideas beyond the posters and stickers. There's other actions, and then help us spread this to other schools so we get the snowball effect that we need. Yeah. Okay, so that's actually the second part, the planning inspirational meeting. So I've got kind of an agenda of those things laid out, and there's a slideshow. If if it's a virtual thing, you can just do a presentation, but it's probably better to show up with 7 or 10 handouts where you can pass the papers around in a discussion around a table. Hopefully, getting them really interested and then leaving them with some posters and stickers and get the main outcome we want is for them to go to the cfdmovement.org website and join. So they give their contact information, and they connect their school to the movement, which then lets the movement people take over. They'll add it to the map so that it shows as an active school, or a school starting up. Once they start posting on social media and things, then they become an active school. And the more schools we get, the more interested CCL will become about this project. Also, I think they can help us really grow it, but we need to show that it's a successful thing to get them interested. So has anybody taken a look at any of those 3 resources that okay, thanks, Luke. Any general comments? I don't know. I've just been speaking for 13 minutes, so it's time to let you guys talk for a little while. I'll open it up. Luke, you can start it off. What do you think about them? Do we need more resources? Are these too long? Could they use some editing? Whatever you want to.
Well, I'm just like one student, but for my 2 cents, I think the way that the way you in terms of the aesthetics and like the interface, you did a great job with information of kind of separating it into these little chunks. Where if you take the planning inspirational meetings, right? For each bullet point, it's like the right amount of information. Sorry, I've had like back to back to back meetings, but no, I think this is like super utilitarian and something that's it's very accessible for us to like read and yeah, you have lots of links, and it's a good combination of like general things, like citizens climate lobby, like the website, and then like policy videos, and yeah, it's great from
Terrific.
rudimentary initial glance. Thank you.
Thanks. Yeah, Owen.
Yeah, and this I agree with everything Luke said. I think that all of what is there looks really good. I was uh, that's because what I've been doing is sort of collecting cold email content, sort of beneficial to add maybe like sort of a cold email template for like we don't know you as well, or we don't know you at all, but we are reaching out to your club. We've identified your club as a strong advocate, and we would like to like kind of bring you into the fold. Like I obviously like I don't live in Colorado or whatever, wherever I'm emailing, but here's some of the information that we have. Here's our website, that sort of thing, if that would be worthwhile.
That would be terrific. Do you have an idea of like how that would go? Do you want to give it a stab?
I could work on that.
Oh,
Yeah.
that would be really helpful. Thank you,
Yeah,
Owen.
that could be just in tandem. I realized, and I'm very sorry that I hadn't sent you the resource bank that I've been working on. So I just emailed that to you now. So I'll
Oh,
kind of put that in tandem with that resource bank.
yeah, just to fill the rest of you in, Owen has been volunteered to like help with CFD movement over the summer, or well, with CCL and CFD movement. But so I thought what would be really kind of the most useful thing for us to have is a spreadsheet with college names, the groups that are of interest, the contact information for them. So then we can, kind of blast out personalized mails to each one. But if we could hit, tens or hundreds or thousands of schools, this August and September, hopefully there will be some percentage of takers, and then we can set up Zoom meetings. And if you guys are interested, we can divide and conquer. And like, if we had hundreds, we're going to need some help doing presentations. But a half an hour, 45 minutes should do it. And the end result is simply get them to join CFD movement on the web, and then it's out of our hands. It goes over to the CFD movement organization to onboard them and get them started. And they have monthly meetings and a Slack, and uh, an email communication. So we're just kind of the connecting groups to the movement. Great. Okay. Yeah. Well, thank you very much, Owen. Hey, Elaine. Yes. Welcome and hello. And good to see
I'm
you.
really sorry I joined late. Wait for me. I looked at the clock and it went only 15 minutes, and then it was like 8 after 4. So I've been helping a chapter in southwestern Florida get going because they lost their leadership. And so one thing that I've realized is that pretty much all of the colleges have environmental clubs, and it would be super cool. And they all have Instagram accounts. And it would be super cool to have some mechanism to reach out to the college clubs through their Instagram accounts, message them, talking about carbon fee and dividend as one college student to another. I message them, but I think it'd be more effective to have a student do it. So what do you think about that? Like have some thing going where some volunteer researches, like in Florida, where are all the community colleges and the colleges, and what are their Instagram accounts for the environmental clubs?
That would be terrific. And the CFD movement has an Instagram account with 4,000 followers now. So it might even be something that we could just give to them to reach out
Right.
from their account. And I think they'd really appreciate a long list of Instagram accounts that they could look into if they're not following and interacting with yet. They can add that to their list. Yeah. So did you say you have a list of those, Elaine?
So no, I wish. I
Oh.
have one Instagram account for one college in southwestern Florida.
Okay, so this is an ad. Yes. So in our spreadsheet, we should try to find also, among other things, the Instagram account for the club if they have one.
So, I do have members in Florida, and I've got very tech savvy members in our chapter in just south of San Francisco who might be able to research that. And I mean, if you need someone to do the heavy lifting, getting lists together, I could reach out to some people and see if they can do that.
I could also just start. Every club has an email and an Instagram, and I thought email was more worthwhile because that was easier to sort of have a lot more information. I can totally just add Instagram to every single one in the spreadsheet, if that helps. I mean, obviously, I only have 120 schools right now, but
That would be great.
as the list grows, and I've sent it out so more people can sort of add to it. But like that way, if we have an Instagram, so it's like this seems better to email, this one seems more active on social media, and then just we keep track of who's talking to who and where, so we're not double messaging. But yeah.
Great. Thanks, Owen. Luke.
Yeah, I definitely that was timely, Elaine's points. Because when Owen was talking earlier, I was gonna mention that like with CCL Harvard, I guess we kind of have like an advantage because like people just want to like do stuff with like Harvard in the name. But from like our experience, Instagram is, that's been like our marketing tool all year, and that's been how we've kind of created this like hot air balloon out of nothing. But like yeah, that said, like we definitely have had the trial and error of, reaching out to these groups and being like, we do this and that, and then suddenly, it's just like, hey, bestie, or whatever. And like, I would definitely say that like the latter has been more effective. And it makes sense, because like if you're a student group and you see this long message versus like, hey, bestie, or whatever, like
Yeah.
there's like that's less stressful to like read, but it's also like making it clear that you're thinking about them, and like it's like it's weird, but it's like you say, hey, bestie, or whatever, from like one Gen Z person to another, and it's like it's their way of saying like I value you, like I see you, like I see what your group is doing, and like we're interested, in like collaborating. And so that's just like my 2 cents, and I'm happy to like show more specifics. But yeah, like we've definitely kind of ascertained, what works and what doesn't, and also to Owen's points, like which groups are more like like which groups, you want to like be like more like cautious with, or like courteous, versus which ones you can be kind of more like expressive with, and so on, right? So like with make polluters pay, I can pretty much say anything and they'll like it or whatever, right? But then, there are like certain CCL groups, where I need to be more like kind of like formal, so or like a mix. But yeah, so
Yeah. Oh, terrific. Okay. So, so Owen, do you want to, like, Luke, do you want to join in working on the spreadsheet, like to collect this stuff, or how should we
I'm
do this tactically?
I'm a little spread thin, as you're probably aware.
Yeah.
But that's why I was just saying, like, like if they want like advice or whatever. But yeah, like I definitely, it's like I'm like in a homeless situation right now. That's like a bad situation. But yeah, just like if they need advice or whatever, like I'm here.
Yeah. Oh, great. Okay, excellent. Uh, good luck with that. Hopefully, that gets resolved very quickly.
Thanks. I'm
Yeah.
moving on Thursday.
Yeah.
So, yeah, so and I just want to highlight so right now we have schools that are I sort of was like trying to compile schools that were like spread across the United. I try to have at least two-ish schools from every state so that there was some amount of representation. And then I pick like the bigger schools in those states. And then I pick some assorted liberal arts schools that seemed like they would like to work with CFD movement just because they're, small liberal artsy sort of vibe alignment is the term that I've been using in my head. Um, and so from here, I definitely, this is expandable and I can work on expanding it as well. But if, like Elaine, you said you're working with the chapter or something and you're like, we need to figure out schools in Florida. And it doesn't matter what type of school, we just need all the what schools in Florida. Like that is, I think, some things that like this can sort of grow and change. Um, but I think that, so kind of just put stuff down on the list and then I think I can also help research, like if there's schools that you guys want added. Um,
This is great. This is really exciting. So I don't know if
yeah.
you know the the group, I think it was Heartland Institute that did this, but they came up with a kind of disinformation guide on climate change. And they sent it out to something like 300,000 schools. I think was this the one that was not every scientist agrees about global warming or something. But anyway, it was kind of to be used as a teacher's guide about climate change in schools, and it just so I think this is kind of neat that we can counteract that with reaching out to actual students at a whole bunch of universities with good science and economics and positive action. So yeah, cool. Thank you very much. So how about other voices? Any thoughts, the rest of you?
I think I'm gonna have to go early. But I'm excited to check out all the documents. Sorry, I have to like pick up clothes because I like don't have clothes right now.
Okay, Luke.
But I'll check out I saved all the documents.
Excellent. Yeah, cool. Well, thanks so much for joining, Luke. Really appreciate it. And
Hey, Phil.
yeah, thanks.
I put my email in the chat if you need advice on the Instagram thing.
Great.
All right.
Will do.
Till next time.
All right. Take care, Luke. Let's see. So let's see. I had a great discussion with Max. So, there's a lot of people that have been in CCL a long time that joined because of carbon fee and dividend, or stayed because of it, or got really active because of it. That was definitely me. I ended up quitting my job 4 or 5 years after I found CCL because I thought that the laser focus on creating political will for carbon fee and dividend was pretty much the best thing that anybody could be working on at this point in time. And I'd like to try to get CCL steered back into a laser focus. But let's see. So
Well,
Elaine,
even if they don't laser focus, if they would just add that as like the ultimate goal, I mean, we can work on other things, but and this is kind of my concern, is I think it's fantastic to reach out to schools and try and introduce them to carbon fee and dividend. But if like, I don't feel like I can go out and tell people about carbon fee and dividend and come join CCL
no, me too.
anymore, because if I bring them in, and then, I mean, CCL hasn't even mentioned it for 2.5 years, and so I hope you are successful in at least bringing them back around. But if they don't, then I wonder. I don't think going through CCL is really a very good path for the CFD movement,
Yeah.
because you come in and you're like, yeah, carbon fee and dividend, and then it's all this other stuff. But and they, I mean, I never expected it to become the way it has. So anyway, I mean, I wonder if there's because CCL has, like, you join, you work in CCL, and then you go to the conference and you go lobby Congress, and that's sort of a satisfying objective. We've gone and we've accomplished our objective. And then, but within the CFD movement, I mean, it's trying to reach out to other students. But then what is if and it used to be that working with CCL could be that next satisfying step. So if that doesn't come back, is there?
Yeah. I think the way that I look at it is I love to table for CCL with a carbon fee and dividend focus. I use that En-ROADS 3 scenario poster. I have the economist statement. I talk to people about the need for carbon pricing to meet our goals, and the household impact study shows the highly equitable results of the dividend. And then I feel like it's a bit of a bait and switch, because the people that sign up for my table don't hear about carbon fee and dividend from national, which that's a different problem than what we're doing. The Friends of CFD Movement, this sub-team, we're already CCL volunteers, and I'm hoping that there's lots of people that are looking for a CFD action, and this is something that they can engage with and be productive while we wait for CCL to return to its focus on carbon fee and dividend. We can grow the CFD movement. Now, the movement is an independent, nonpartisan organization that's student-led. It started within CCL, and it tried to live within the higher ed action team for a year, and determined that that wasn't working because CCL, even the higher ed action team, was focused on other priorities. And so in the hired action team, even, they didn't get enough time to plan CFD movement activities, which is why they decided to branch off into their own organization. So we can steer students to CFD movement, and they will just get 100% laser focus on CFD, on the carbon fee and dividend policy, and creating political will for it. And so there's, so somebody joining CCL and looking for a CFD action has us, the friends of CFD movement. The people that we're talking to within CCL, hopefully these are the ones that joined looking for carbon fee and dividend actions, and here's one that we're offering you, and it's finding students and connecting them with the movement. So it would be a lot better if this was not just a sub team of an action team. It would be great if CCL would offer a CCU training on how to do this stuff that I'm trying to share with you guys tonight, and that they maybe made it one of their monthly actions to reach out to your local school, ask every chapter across the country, hey, contact your local high school's environmental group and see if they'll let somebody in your chapter come in and give a En-ROADS, overview of climate policies and an advocacy project that you might be interested in joining. So, then I think we could get hundreds of schools to join this year. I think we're going to struggle if it's the 9 or 10 of us that are working on it to make that happen. We can get a good start. And I think if we start showing accelerating success in what we're doing, then CCL will become more interested. I think there's a map on I can show it to you, a map on the CFD Movement website. So I'll go here. You go to About Schools. And there's 3 categories: just starting up, active, and previously active. And so, this is already pretty inspiring. But, if we can get a couple of dozen more schools here, um, we'll have more to talk about. And there's a list of all the schools that have done it or are doing it right now. Okay. Yes, Max.
Hey, John. Thanks again for the call the other day. A couple things. I can connect whoever I needs to be connected to the Montana schools. So I know them. The MSU, Montana State, is part of the CCL movement here in Bozeman. Missoula U of M has one. I think Carroll College has another one. So if you let me know who I connect people with, I can go ahead and do that. Someone asked a question in the chat. Is the focus on high school or colleges? And it's not clear to me either. I'm fine with it's both, but I just want to understand what the focus is.
So the founder, Emily O'Keefe, thought this would be a great college campus movement, a collective action movement like the Vietnam War protests, or
Got it.
The other major things that have, social changes that have often kind of really been stirred up on college campuses. But high school students and even middle school students are worried about climate change. And this is not a confrontational project that we're doing, it's an educational project. And it gives people a way to write a nice, polite email to their congresspeople. So I teach a class called Help Solve Climate Change at MIT's events that they offer to middle schoolers and high schoolers to come onto campus for a weekend and attend a list of classes in classrooms. And so we've had middle schools join and high schools join also. And they're happy doing it. So there's really no restriction. My daughter has given me feedback about who I connect to this project. She says it's much easier if we get connected to a club that's existing or somebody that wants to start a club, as opposed to an individual who has no, like official connection to the school to put up posters and have table at events and things like that. They can set all that up. There's some CFD movement clubs that have been started at schools so that they have the official ability to do those things. But if you have an existing environmental club that's looking for projects, they could just add this to the list of what they're doing. They've already got a group of people looking for things to do, and they've got permission and often a budget from the school to do those things. So
Got it. Okay, thanks. And the
Yeah.
last thing is you mentioned you have a call with Brett. Um, this last lobby day, they were talking about how the action teams are going to be changing a little bit the focus, and it's really to inform policy. And I think our head of policy is Jenny. I get mixed up, but that might be something to ask Brett about. How can we as an action team help inform CCL with the CFD movement? You probably have that on your list already, John, but I just wanted to, just in case, bring that idea up.
Yeah, so Max, are you thinking that we should have a carbon fee and dividend action team where this would be one of the things that action team did, or something else?
I
Or
was thinking more, how do we help Jenny um, with the strategy of CCL, and then help her inform messaging and policy to the members of Congress around the topic of carbon fee and dividend.
mm-hmm. Right. Yeah. Thanks. Okay. Yes, I'll that goes in well. I did want to talk with him about action teams because also I think those other top level policies would make great action teams as opposed to being top level policies. We could have a permitting reform action team and things like that
Excellent idea.
that focus those things, and they can bubble up primary or
Yep.
secondary asks that we can lobby. But I don't know if they deserve like their own menu, items on the front page of the website. They can be just like other action teams. Yeah. Oh, and did you want to ask something? Sorry.
Oh, I was just gonna say, Max, if you have the information for schools in Montana, you can either add it directly to the spreadsheet if you'd like, or you can add it to the chat or email it to me and I can put it on the spreadsheet. Because Montana was like actually a hole that I had in schools. So
Okay, I'll download the spreadsheet and put it in there. If I
sounds
need
good.
access, I assume I can just ask and it'll come to you.
Exactly. And
Okay.
I've put a couple of rows in the West Coast section for Montana. So those will be.
Thank you, sir.
Terrific. Great. Okay. So, well, does anybody have a school that they're planning on reaching out to?
Yeah, in September, I'll do it with MSU. I'll just go to their chapter meeting.
Excellent. Great. Thanks, Max.
And I reached out to that one school in Florida already today, but not about carbon fee and dividend. It was about, connecting them with En-ROADS. So I will send that Instagram account. Who should I send it to? What are you compiling the list?
Yeah.
Okay. I got your
If
contact
you have that,
information.
you can send that right on over.
Okay. Great.
Once I get to the main camp, there was some weirdness about my school campus last year, but now that I'm on the main campus of the school and not a satellite campus, I plan to go to their environmental club and pitch CFD in person.
Terrific. Awesome. Great. Terrific. Okay. Well, that's all I had for tonight. Does anybody have any thoughts or ideas what we should be doing middle of August? School starts in a couple of weeks. The way
Meetings
CFD movement.
this time is really hard for me, but I'll drop in when I can.
Oh, great. Thanks, Elaine. Yeah, our next meeting will be the third Sunday of next month. So school will be already going full tilt, and hopefully we'll have sent out a barrage of emails to schools asking for a meeting, and hopefully interesting some to get invitations to set up some Zoom meetings. if you want, you can take a look at the two resources if you haven't already. The second one, there's a presentation, a set of slides, and then there's a list of kind of the main materials. Some are videos, some are handouts or PDFs that you can share, while you're talking through the thing. I always talk for too long, so I aim for a half an hour, and 45 minutes is tough to do the whole thing for me. And I don't do a very good job of listening half the time, like CCL recommends, but I think that's how to make a more effective meeting and probably get buy-in to the goal of having the group that you're meeting with sign up to make sure that we get all their questions answered and learn exactly where they're coming from to try to answer their questions in a way that connects with them. But I think if we can do some of these meetings and experiment, and we can get back in the middle of our third week of September and talk about how, a meeting went and what we can do to improve and go from there. All right. Does anybody
That's
have
good.
anything else they'd like to?
Well, John, if there's anything that you can share from your meeting and how CCL's policy direction looks, and I'm sure that not everything would be something that you could just distribute, but anything that would be acceptable to distribute, I would really like to hear it. Even if you could send anything out that would be acceptable to send out.
Oh, thanks. Well, I think I can tell you how it's going to go because I've spoken at least once with Jen, and Tony was when he was in charge of strategy, and Brett and I have had a number of really good conversations, but yeah, um, I think CCL is trying to decide itself right now what to do. So I think I'll be more giving input than getting really any answers. I think what we'll hear is when they tell us in October what they're going to do. And I think we would actually need to convince some board members as well as the staff leadership that we would love to get back to a laser focus on carbon fee and dividend and do all of the other things. Everybody thinks that, oh, he wants to stop doing. I don't want to stop doing any of the things that we're doing. I just don't want them to be the focus to the exclusion of carbon fee and dividend, because I think when we do that, we're being distracted and we're not talking about carbon fee and dividend in some aspect in every lobby meeting. And I think it's just that's where our key attributes are. We are the group that understands carbon pricing. And so I think I shared the growing carbon price gap presentation webpage earlier in our chat. So my message is there's a growing US carbon price gap. It's the gap between the US price and that of a safe future, according to the IPCC, but as well as between that of the US and our major trading partners. And we're going to start paying them the difference with CBAM starting next year. So I think there's some really compelling messages that CCL should be sharing with people, and not just waiting for the right time to start talking about carbon fee and dividend. We you need to create that time, and this is the group that was created to do that, to create the political will. So yeah. So thanks, Steve. If there's something I'll share, I'll let you know. But I think it's going to be, fingers crossed after my meeting's done instead of knowing anything. All right.
Thank you for doing it.
Yeah. Well, thank you all. And actually, that brings one more idea related to carbon fee and dividend. If you have an interest in carbon fee and dividend laser focused, it wouldn't hurt to send a brief email to the chairman of the board or other board members of CCL to let them know from seasoned CCL volunteer veterans what we wish CCL was doing right now. I think they don't hear from many volunteers, and I think it would be good to have them hearing the voices. So creating political will within CCL for carbon fee and dividend laser focus. So thanks everybody. Well, have a great night, and really thanks so much for joining, and hope to see you next month.
Thanks, John. Owen, thanks for the link. And Donna, welcome to your first meeting. Cheers.
Oh yes, Donna, and if you hang on, I have a couple resources for carbon fee and dividend that I'd love to share with you. You guys are welcome to stay. I'll stop recording now.